Hi, my name is Mayad Alos. I'm an urban sketcher. I've recently launched a tutorial series, and to complement this, I'm setting exercises on YouTube. So today it's all about one point perspective, and the exercises will be how to draw boxes in one point perspective, but also how to make them a little bit more complex as part of your practice. So, single point perspective, the first thing to do is to identify your horizon line. So we're just going to draw a line somewhere in the middle of the page, really not very important. And then you decide where your vanishing point is. And that vanishing point is normally where your eye is. So that's normally your vanishing point. For this exercise, what we're going to do is we're going to draw three boxes, and we're going to see how they vary in terms of their position against the horizon line. So the first box that we're going to draw is going to be literally sitting somewhere across the horizon line. And you can see I'm just drawing any box. There are no specific dimension, just making sure that my horizontals are horizontal, and the verticals are vertical. And you'll see that in here, each one of these corner needs to lead up to the vanishing point. So that's your line there. And we're going to make the box maybe that deep. So and that's where you stop. So that's what a box looks like. This could be a building, this could be a building, or and that's what it looks like if it sits on the horizon line, which is normally how you see objects and buildings. However, if you're looking down on an object, then it's going to be below the horizon line. And when that is the case, then you'll see it changes shape. Because you're looking down on the object, you're actually looking at the top of the box or the roof of the box. And you'll see in here, then by drawing the, so you draw the vertical, and then we draw the horizontal here, and you take it to that corner there, not to this corner. And you see that is a box underneath the horizon line. And because it's underneath the horizon line, it means you're looking down on it, and therefore you can see the roof of the box. Now we're going to move the box upward and put it somewhere here. And now you can see what it looks like if it is above the horizon line. So I'm just using more or less the same dimensions, but these dimensions are not very important. It's more the shape and the relationship with the horizon line. And then in here, I'm just going to do that in pencil for you so you can see how I'm getting to that point. And once I've done it in pencil, then I've identified where the size of the box, and then we can put the edges of the box. And as you can see, now we've got three boxes, one on the horizon line, one below, one above. The one that's on the horizon line, you cannot see the top or the bottom. This one you can see the top, this one you can see the bottom. So that is the basic practice for drawing boxes when it comes to single point perspective. So now we are going to do more complex boxes, and we're going to start. I'm going to use a pencil this time so that you can see, you'll see in a minute why. So we're going to draw a box which is on the horizon line, and that's there. You draw the back of the box first, and then you draw the edges. You draw the edges of the box, and then you identify the size of the box. Just made it this size. In fact, no, I'm going to make it bigger actually, just to demonstrate this. And I'm going to rub this little edge here with a little rubber. Just wanted to make that box bigger. Okay, and this doesn't matter. Now what we're going to do is we are going to best friend. Right, what we're going to do now is we're going to pretend that this chunk, there's a chunk missing out of this box. So let's just say the chunk is that big. Yeah, so let's draw now a line there, and then we're going to run a horizontal line, so that is there. Run a vertical line, okay, and that line there is now going to, so effectively the top of your box now is going to be shorter, therefore this point is going to have an edge to it up to there. Yeah, do you see so far? Now this gets a little bit tricky now, because, well, how do you know where to stop? Because obviously you need a vertical here. The way you do it is by drawing another, is drawing that a horizontal here and a leading edge. So you've identified in here, what you've done is you've identified this rectangle within this object to be the base of the chunk that's being cut out. Once you have this point, then you know where that ends. So what you now have is you have a box with a chunk missing, and it looks like this. And I'm just going to quickly recap how I got to this, but hopefully you'll see once all of this is highlighted in pen. So what we've done is we drew a complete box like this one. Then we identified how much shorter we wanted to be on this edge. We identified how much narrower we wanted to be at the top. We had to identify this rectangle, and then that gave us the edge for this leading edge here at the back. Sounds a bit complicated. Draw it a few times. I think you'll find that really useful, as that happens all the time. I mean, typically, this is effectively like a building with an extension. Even if you imagine there's a door here and a door there, suddenly you've got a house. And that's why this is so important, effectively. Yeah, and just getting a perspective line there. So effectively, you ended up with a house there. So that's why this is really important, identifying more complex objects in one point perspective. Now I'm going to do exactly the same, and I'm going to do it underneath the horizon line. So it gets probably, maybe it's a little bit more complicated, not sure, but again, it's very important to identify or to spot the differences between below, above the horizon line and on the horizon line. So you draw your the back end of the box, then you identify the width of the box, the depth of the box. You draw your vertical, you draw your horizontal, and now we're going to take a chunk out of this here, and we are going to, that is going to be, this is how much shorter we want it to be. So I'm going to take a line through there. So I've now reduced the height. Now I want to reduce the width at the top of the box. I'm going to make it even less, and I'm going to reduce the width to there. And now I know that this is the chunk I'm taking. This has a leading edge, so that has an edge all the way to the horizon. Okay, so in here there's a gap, of course, now. So now we know that there's a vertical coming down, because this is obviously, there's a gap. There's a horizontal coming down here, going there. And of course, there's an edge between the vertical and the horizontal. And that box now looks like this. Okay. So you've got a box underneath the horizon line with a corner chopped off. Same technique, just we moved it, but look at the difference. In here, I can only see one edge. So if the sun is coming that way, I can only see one edge of that chunk. If the sun is coming that way and I'm just shading, then I'm now missing, I can see both the side edge and I can see the base of that chunk that's missing. What does that look like? Let's move the box up. And what does that look like up there? Box again. And actually, no, let's make it the same size. Where's my friend, the rubber? Okay, thank you. We've got my best friend. And again, we're going to draw the edges of the box leading up to the vanishing point. And then we're going to decide the depth of the box. I'm going to make it the same depth as the last one. And now we're going to take a chunk of the bottom this time. So I'm going to narrow the width to there and narrow the height to here. So I've decided how much of a chunk to take off. This now creates an edge to the horizon line. This creates an edge to the horizon line. And what that does now is, this is now going to be the roof of the chunk that's been missing. And so you'll see that it's exactly the same technique, but it's upside down. And once I draw it in pen, hopefully it will make sense to you. My lines are not perfect. I'm trying to keep all these practice exercises to under 10 minutes. And I think we're doing okay for 10 minutes. But we'll find out in 1 minute when we finish. So, and in here, these are the two edges that I've taken out. This vertical edge, and there is a horizontal . So, very, very simple exercise. A quick recap: 3 boxes on the horizon line, on the horizon, below and above the horizon line. And then the same 3 boxes if we take a corner out. And how do we chop off the corner? By identifying how much do we want to reduce the width, the height, start at the back box, and then draw your edges all the way to the horizon line, and then identify where they meet and take the chunk off. Well, I hope you found that very useful. The more complicated the shapes, the better. So please experiment. Please practice, practice, practice. And if you enjoyed what you've seen, please subscribe to my channel. And if you really want to, then go to my Instagram as well.